terrible tragedy, and we need to do more.
We all agree with that.
Okay.
But you and investigators have blamed, you blame Facebook for playing a role in the genocide. We all agree it's terrible. How can you dedicate, and will you dedicate, resources to make sure such hate speech is taken down within 24 hours?
Yes, we're working on this. And there are 3 specific things that we're doing. One is we're hiring dozens of more Burmese language content reviewers. Because hate speech is very language specific. It's hard to do it without people who speak the local language, and we need to ramp up our effort there dramatically. Second is we're working with civil society.
Big moment in history here today.
To identify specific hate figures so we can take down their accounts rather than specific pieces of content. And third is we're standing up a product team to do specific product changes in Myanmar and other countries.
I just want to say thank you to all you guys out there that have been part of FutureNet with us.
Senator Cruz and I...
For those of you who are part of FutureNet with us, you'll understand the significance of this day right here. It's Mark Zuckerberg testified in front of Congress.
That'd be great. Thank you, Senator Lee.
For the record, I want to know what you will do about...
You guys, it's pretty clear that the people need to own this social media network. The people, not a corporation.
Thank you. Are you familiar with Andrew Bosworth?
Yes, Senator, I am.
He said, so we connect more people, maybe someone dies in a terrorist attack, coordinated on our tools. The ugly truth is that we believe in connecting people so deeply that anything that allows us to connect more people more often is de facto good. Do you agree with that?
No, Senator, I do not. And as context, Boz wrote that. Boz is what we call him internally. He wrote that as an internal note. We had a lot of discussion internally. I disagreed with it at the time that he wrote it. If you looked at the comments on the internal discussion...
I think Mark Zuckerberg's worth like $35 billion now. $35 billion Mark Zuckerberg. This guy's worth... You guys, you should all see an issue with this, and that the money needs to be going back to the people. So that's what we're doing at FutureNet.
We try to run our company in a way where people can express different opinions.
Beautiful day over here, guys.
This is an opinion that really disturbs me.
No?
If somebody worked for me that said this, I'd fire.
We're having people up here all the time at the studio.
Who's your biggest competitor?
Senator, we have a lot of competitors.
Who's your biggest?
FutureNet.
I think the categories of... Do you want just one? I'm not sure I can give one, but can I give a bunch?
Mm-hmm.
FutureNet.
So there are 3 categories that I would focus on. One are the other tech platforms, so Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft.
They don't pay the people at all.
They do. Do they provide the same service you provide?
They don't pay the people like FutureNet.
In different ways, different parts of it.
Yes. Way. If I buy a Ford and it doesn't work well and I don't like it, I can buy a Chevy. If I'm upset with Facebook, what's the equivalent product that I can go sign up for?
Well, there's the second category that I was going to talk about.
Are the ones that pay you like FutureNet.
It's the real competition you face. Because car companies face a lot of competition. If they make a defective car, it gets out in the world.
Well, FutureNet, because it's uncensored and encrypted.
Is it an alternative to Facebook in the private sector?
FutureNet.
Yes, Senator. The average American uses 8 different apps to communicate with their friends and stay in touch with people, ranging from texting apps to email.
It's the same service you provide.
Well, we provide a number of different services.
Is Twitter the same as...
Yes, you do.
It certainly doesn't feel like that to me.
That's a sociopath right there. Look at that chick. She's like, what the
Instagram.
fuck?
You bought Instagram. Why did you buy Instagram?
Because they were very talented app developers who were making good use of our platform and understood our values.
It was a good business decision. My point is that one way to regulate a company is through competition.
That pays the people.
Government regulation. Here's the question that all of us got to answer. What do we tell our constituents, given what's happened here, why we should let you self-regulate? What would you tell people in South Carolina that, given all the things we've just discovered here, it's a good idea for us to rely upon you to regulate your own business practices?
No, the people should own the company.
Well, Senator, my position is not that there should be no regulation. Okay. I think the internet is increasingly...
Do you embrace regulation?
I think the real question, as the internet becomes more important in people's lives, is what is the right regulation, not whether there should be or
But you
not.
as a company welcome regulation?
I think if it's the right regulation, then
Do you
yes.
think the Europeans have it right?
I think that they get things right.
Have you ever submitted? That's true. So would you work with us in terms of what regulations you think are necessary in your industry?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you submit to us and propose regulations?
Yes, and I'll have my team follow up with you so that way we can have this discussion across the different categories where I think that this discussion needs to
I
happen.
look forward to it. When you sign up for Facebook, you sign up for terms of service. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. It says the terms govern your use
A lot of
of
people
Facebook
leaving Facebook,
products,
guys.
features, apps, services, technology, software we offer, Facebook's products or products, except where we expressly state.
I mean, you guys got to see an issue with this.
not
Here,
supplied.
a corporation is making $25 billion a year off of the people, and all this stuff is taking place.
Do you think the average?
It's coming down to a point where it's so awesome being in FutureNet because it's just like everyone is coming into it right now. It makes sense that the people own it.
But I think that there are different ways that we can communicate that and have a responsibility to do so.
Do you agree with me that you better come up with different ways because this ain't working?
Well, Senator, I think in certain areas
Dave?
that is true, and I think in other areas, like the core part of what we do, right? If you think about just at the most basic level, people come to Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger
Waste their time.
about 100 billion times a day
To waste
to
their time.
share a piece of content or a message with a specific set of people. And I think that that
Put money
basic
in your pocket.
functionality, people understand because we have the controls in line every time, and given the volume of the activity and the value that people tell us that they're getting from that, I think that that control in line does seem to be working fairly well. Now, we can always do better, and there are other services are complex, and there is more to it than just, you go and you
How
post
are we
a
talking
photo.
about how much money this guy
So
right here
I-
makes off of
I
all
agree
of you
that
guys on
in many places
Facebook?
we could do better, but I think for the core of the service, it actually is quite clear.
Thank you, Senator Graham. Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Zuckerberg, I think we all agree that what happened here was bad. You acknowledged it was a breach of trust. And the way I explain it to my constituents is that if someone breaks into my apartment with a crowbar and they take my stuff, it's just like if the manager gave them the keys or if they didn't have any locks on
The
the
money
door.
from
It's
social
still a
media needs to go back to the
it's still a
people.
break-in. And I believe we need to have laws and rules that are sophisticated as the brilliant products that you've developed here. And we just haven't done that yet. And one of the areas that I focused on is the election. And I appreciate the support that you and Facebook, and now Twitter actually, have given to the Honest Ads Act, a bill that you mentioned that I'm leading with Senator McCain and Senator Warner. And I just want to be clear, as we work to pass this law, so that we have the same rules in place to disclose political ads and issue ads as we do for TV and radio, as well as disclaimers, that you're going to take early action as soon as June, I heard, before this election, so that people can view these ads, including issue ads. Is that correct?
That is correct, Senator, and I just want to take a moment before I go into this in more detail to thank you for your leadership on this.
I mean, look at this.
This, I think,
This
is
is
an
big
important
what's happening right
area
here.
for the whole industry to move on.
It's like
The
knowledge
two specific
flows
things
out
that we're
there.
doing
You can't
are,
have a
one is
corporation that
around
controls it, and people
So,
need freedom of
now
speech.
you're going to be able
All
to
it comes down to
click
is
on
a social
any
media
ad
network
or any
that the
page
people own,
on Facebook
that is
and see all of
uncensored
the ads that
and
they're
encrypted.
So that actually
That's what
puts
FutureNet's about.
on Facebook to an even higher
This
standard
is
than what you
all
have on
history.
TV or print media, because there's nowhere where you can see all of the TV ads that someone is running, for example, whereas you will be able to see now on Facebook whether this campaign or third party is saying different messages to different
Yeah.
types of people. I think that that's a really important element of transparency. Then the other really important piece is around verifying every single advertiser who's going to be running political or issue ads.
I appreciate that, and Senator Warner and I have also called on Google and the other platforms to do the same, so memo to the rest of you. We have to get this done, or we're going to have a patchwork of ads, and I hope that you'll be working with us to pass this bill. Is that right?
We will.
Okay, thank you. Now on the subject of Cambridge Analytica, were these people, the 87 million people, users, concentrated in certain states? Are you able to figure out where they're from?
I do not have that information with me. but we can follow up with your office.
Okay, because as we know, that election was close and it was only thousands of votes in certain states. You've also estimated that roughly 126 million people may have been shown content from a Facebook page associated with the Internet Research Agency. Have you determined whether any of those people were the same Facebook users whose data was shared with Cambridge Analytica? Are you able to make that determination?
Senator, we're investigating that now. We believe that it is entirely possible that there will be a connection there.
Okay, that seems like a big deal as we look back.
Hello,
at that
Anna.
last
Good to
election.
see you here. Miss
Former
you.
Cambridge Analytica employee Christopher Wiley has said that the data...
This is really interesting stuff, guys. One thing I would recommend to all my people in FutureNet is set up a search on google.com/alerts for the hashtag delete Facebook. And you'll see on a daily basis who's leaving Facebook right now. And you guys, this is really spreading. It's hard hits when a company, I think this is all it's going to really take, honestly, for people to wake up and understand that there's something better at FutureNet. So I'm going to go ahead and get off, guys. But, you know, again, if you're in social media, this is definitely a monumental time to be watching. Like, who would ever thought that Mark Zuckerberg be popped for inside trading? And also, you know, I mean, all this stuff right here, right? So obviously this guy has more money, knows what to deal with. This money needs to go back to the people, and that's simply what's going to happen. Anyways, there we go. You guys got to come see. We're leaving the studio. Get on our show here shortly. We getting ready?
Are we live? Are we live?
We're on Facebook Live.
Hey, Ryan Conley.
What up?
Ryan Conley will be on with yours truly, Dirty Harry, my show producer Erica here, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Make sure to watch us.
And I want to get Ryan's full take and knowledge about just his thoughts about what Zuckerberg has told the world. So we'll be talking about that today at 1 o'clock. See ya.
That's really interesting, guys. So stay tuned. We will be up in the studio in a few minutes.
Get that information out there. Thank you, and we look forward to passing this bill. We'd love to pass it before the election on to better
That's way
disclosure
too big.
of this election. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Senator Blunt's up next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Zuckerberg, nice to